It's very nice poem, isn't it? So this poem talks about the memory with her dog, okay? Talks about the pets, okay? So like the poet cannot communicate with a pet or dog, but still, she tried to express her emotion to the pets. And if you take a look at the structure of the poetry, and I highlighted the part which we can see the poetic device. Okay, so when you are happy, when you are angry, when you get hungry, when you are sleepy, when you are sad. In the first stanza, on the second stanza, when I'm happy, when I'm angry, when I get hungry, when I am sleepy, when I am sad. So that's the usage of parallelism. Okay, parallelism. So that means you and me, contrast each other and compare, right? And then last stanza also, highlight and repeat. Try to express the relationship between two, okay? Even if your word doesn't connect with me, your feeling is transmitted through me. Even if my word, your word, my word doesn't connect with you, my feeling transmits through you. So that's the, nice structure of poetry. So that's the, second case of parallelism. Okay, move on to the third one. Like the first two poems, the third one also connects under the theme of family, but this time it expresses poet's regret. Okay, I'm going to give you another couple of moments, so please read it for yourself. Okay, so this time you can see the feature of ellipsis. Okay, in the last line, I mean like in the last stanza, the first line, but, and then you can see three dot leaders here, okay? And this is the usage of ellipsis. And then, you can get, if you put the word here, you can say, when we realize it, that's too late. So that's the case of the usage of ellipsis. And also, you may find that this is another usage of metaphor, a big hole in my heart. Okay, move on to the next one. The fourth poem talks about the addresses the meaning of love. So I'm going to give you a couple moments. So please read it once again by yourself. Okay, so you can see some repetitious phrases in this poem. And then, each stanza starts with the phrase, I think about love. Okay, so this is a repetitious usage of the same sentence, same phrase. So I'm going to see this usage as repetition. I think about love, and then talks about mother and, what happens to others. Okay, and then fifth poem comes under the theme of family too. And this time it addresses the issue of partnership. Okay, the title of this poem is Grand Love. So I'm going to give you a couple of moments, so please read it again by yourself. Okay, this time, if you take a look at the poem, or if you read it aloud, you can get some feature. So this is a case of line, usage of line. Okay, reason. So eat dinner together, watch TV together, and then favorite taste of grandfather, my grandmother, grandfather, mother, father, together, finger. So these are the usage of line. Okay. So like in addition to, expressing emotions, okay, this poet uses, line in the poem. Okay, let me switch to the next poem. Okay, so this is the last poem I prepared for today's presentation. Okay, so please read it for yourself. I need 5 more minutes. Can you please close the icon here?
Can you say it again?
Oh, that's okay, no problem. So I have 5 more minutes to finish my presentation.
Yes, no problem.
Because okay.
Just a time reminder that you only have like 8 minutes left.
Okay, sure, no problem. Okay, the last poem with the combination of different poetic devices. So for example, in the second stanza, I thought I could do everything myself. I thought I would be truly an adult. So this is a usage of repetition of the same word, same expression. And if you take a look at here, morning, blessing, mother, daughter. So these are the usage of line. And also she uses, ellipsis here. So like, but I say that, thank you, my mother. So something like this. So like, I shared 6 different poems, but each second language writer expresses his heart emotions in a different way with different style, different format. So what can we say from this presentation? So if you take a look at the, 6 poems or other poems, different perception of concerning the concept of love. And then we found out 5 different themes, which are family, shapes of love, romantic love, friendship, and the hometown. And then the content of poetry writings are gratitude, lost love, regret, communication, partnership, what is love, passion, and the peaceful places. So that's the content of 23 poems. And as we reviewed, we can find that some issues of poetry writing, it talks about social relationship, okay, to parents, father, mother, grandparents, baby, boyfriend, girlfriends. And then if you take a look at the word choice, each writer uses emotional words such as love, want, like. And then to express love, communicate the message of love, Japanese students use always, together, long, forever. So these words are used to connect the memory with love. And then verb is also used such as tie and connect. And we can also find out literary choices. Okay, thank you very much. Such as metaphors, parallelism, ellipsis, line, and then repetitions. Okay, to conclude my presentation, this study also shows the ability of second language writers to express love in a target language. And then each writer uses different poetic devices to construct and express love. And poetry shows love is socially constructed because, Japanese students address some issue related to, family members, friendship, right? So these are all socially constructed. And poetry writing is good usage as meaningful literacy practice. Students can use their own experience, real life experience, to express and then practice expressing their emotions. Okay, that's pretty much everything about my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
I would like to share a big thanks to your presentation. Do you have any question for our presenter?
Okay, so thank you very much for your sharing, especially in the very interesting topic. And I think that it would be more interesting if, like, English lecturers at the university, they can apply, like, using some poetry, teaching, or using something like that to help students like love English language more, especially they can express a feeling in poetry. So I have a small question. So do you think like it's a good idea when we can give the students some like a techniques like a repetition, elliptics, and some vocabulary to ask them to create, to write the poetry themselves, or should we give them some samples of the poetry as reference, and then we can like help them to develop the poetry? So which one is better from your teaching experience? Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions. And that's very interesting point. And then at the same time, that's very important. When I teach in this context, I didn't teach any specific technique for poetry writing. So students start from free writing, and then students, try to change free writing to poetic form. So that's how I, taught my students. But since, this year I moved to another university, I work with English major students. So when I work with English major students, I teach such poetic devices, usage of like ellipsis, line, because they're more familiar with, such kind of things. And then that's what students learn from another courses. So it depends on the context, I would say. So when I work with Japanese major student or engineering student, which I think, expressing emotion is more important. But when I work with English major student, they need to develop the repertoire of, second language literacy. So in this case, this poetic device helps them to increase the repertoire in second language. Does that make sense? Thank you.
We cannot include all the question in the Q&A session, so the participants can email the presenter directly. On behalf of VIC 2022, I wish you all the best with a productive day and meaningful rest of our virtual convention. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
So sorry, but how can I call you, Mr. Atsushi?
Atsushi,
Is that correct?
yes, Atsushi Iida.
you.
You're very
About
welcome.
to start your presentation in 3 minutes.
Okay. How can I see attendees?
Pardon?
How can I see attendees? The people who listen to my presentation.
This is an online presentation, so there are several virtual participants in your class now,
Okay.
and maybe there are some of live participants. They are coming. They will come
Okay.
in as you are presenting. Good afternoon, our presenter and participants. On the behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to thank you to your participation and contribution to our annual convention's success. I am Kim Chang, the presentation moderator. I am delighted to see all of you in presence today, especially in this parallel live oral presentation. We do hope that all of you will be able to have some valuable knowledge and experience as takeaways following the talk. Before the presentation, there are a few considerations. In case you have any questions or concern about the presentation, please feel free to leave them in the chat box so we can gather all the questions for easy in the 5 to 10 minutes Q&A sections. So we gladly welcome Mr. Atu C in this 30-minute parallel live oral presentation, which is entitled Expressing Love in English as a Foreign Language, a Poetic Inquiry. About our presenter, Mr. Atu C is an associate professor of TESOL and applied linguistics at Aoyama Gakuin University, Japan. He was awarded his PhD composition and TESOL at Indiana University in Pennsylvania. His research explored the second language writing, poetry writing, and literature in L2 education. He is the co-editor of the book International Perspectives on Creative Writing in Second Language Education and the author of numerous research articles published in international journals. So please welcome Mr. Atushi.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you very much for coming to my session, and thank you very much for the kind introduction. And today, first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Atsushi Iida. I'm currently an associate professor at Aoyama Gakuin University. And today I'm gonna share my study on poetry writing. The title of my presentation today is Expressing Love in a Foreign Language Poetry Writing. Just by the way, can you hear me okay? Okay, this slide okay? Okay. In my presentation, the purpose of today's presentation is to discuss the ability of second language learners to express emotion in poetry writing. And then today I'm going to share three things. So first of all, let me share briefly about my researcher's positioning. And then I'm going to share previous research on second language poetry writing. And then I'm going to, show you some case study to explore love in foreign language poetry writing. Okay, and first of all, let me explain the researcher's positioning. I'm a second language writing expert, and although I use the poetry as a literary genre, my goal of using literature and poetry writing is not to interpret, understand Shakespeare's work. Instead, I ask my student, second language learners, to produce and express their emotion through poetry writing. Okay, so my goal and research interest is to literacy development in a second language or foreign language. So that's my positioning. I'm not a lit person. I'm more about applied linguist person. Okay. So now let me explain a bit about the previous studies on second language poetry writing. Okay, previous studies have explored various issues of second language poetry writing, especially focusing on poetry writing and the second language learners. And then, some researchers investigated student study abroad experiences, student parent divorce, and earthquake experiences, and then poetry writing about love in the first language and the second language. And what we have, found out so far is that previous studies illustrate the ability of second language learners to write expressively in poetry writing or creative writing. And also, poetry writing does not only limit the specific topic. Actually, it comes from various topics ranging from mundane daily life events to deeply traumatic experiences, as you can see on the slide, such as March 11th earthquake experiences. Here, several questions about second language poetry writing come up. What happens to second language writers when they need to express love, which is uncommon to Asian students in their lives in a target language? And also, can poetry writing help second language learners to express such a feeling? In order to answer these questions, I set up the research question. How is the experience of love characterized through poetic data produced by Japanese EFL learners? So that's the research questions I'm going to share, and then I'm going to explain about my study. And this is the methodology. I use the qualitative case study research, and then, research site is Japanese Public University, and then I recruited 23 Japanese college sophomore students, 10 male, 13 female students, and they are Japanese education majors. They will be the Japanese teachers in the future. And then if you take a look at the proficiency level, their level is not that high. I would say low intermediate. And then I'm going to give you the CEFAL bands A2 to B1, which is not so high level of students. And this is the data collection procedure. So as I said, I collect the data in the second year general English in the university. And then the goal, the objective of this class is to develop second language written fluency. And then this is an overview of the course. Japanese university offers a semester with 15 weeks, 90 minutes each. And then, students have a lot of practice of writing poetry in a foreign language. And then this time, the data I'm going to show you is here. I collected the week 14th, and then students are assigned to write a poetry on love in English as a foreign language. Okay, and then I collect the data, 23 poems written by 23 different Japanese students. And then data were analyzed with 3 aspects: theme analysis, content analysis, and then stylistic analysis. So this is based on Hanawa's analytical scale of second language poetry writing. Okay, so now let me show you the result findings. And this is actually the word student used. And then if you see the big letters, big words, so that means the high frequency word used in the poetry writing. So as you can see, love at the center, so that means, this is not so surprising because students are asked to write a poem about love. So the word love is most frequently used in the text. So we're going to take a look at more carefully, deeply about the findings. Okay, let's start with themes. What themes students handle in poetry writing? Okay, 23 poems are grouped, categorized into 5 main themes, which are family, shape of love, romance, friendship, and the hometown. And 10 poems out of 23 involves the family issues. And then 8 poems are related to shapes of love, and 3 poems talks about the romance, and then friendship and the hometown. It's about 1 poem each. And then I put the example titles here. Okay. And then what content Japanese students write about the love? Okay. And I found out 8 themes under 5 major themes. Okay, 8 content, which are gratitude, lost love, regret, communication, partnership, meaning of love, passion, and peaceful place. So that's the 8 content found in 23 poems. And then you can see description and the definition of each theme and the content. So for example, gratitude addresses to expressing gratitude to family members. Lost love, the poet loses love from a family member. Regret, the poet regret for her attitude toward family. Communication, expressing how love can be conveyed. Partnership, describing grandparents' love. Okay, so that's how I define and characterize the content through 23 poems. So now let me switch to styles of poetry writing. Japanese students use have different style of expressing emotion in a foreign language. And then I'm going to analyze, from several features: word choice and poetic devices. And actually you can see 5 different literacy styles. So I'm going to show it how Japanese students express their emotions and how they use these kind of poetic devices. Okay, so first of all, let me share the finding of word choices. So this is the content word used in the poem, okay? And love is the most highly frequent use in poetry writing, okay, 90 times. The second highest word used in poetry writing is family. The third one is thinking. And next, thank, person, time, always, live, make, want, think, together, baby, every, like, meet, mother, take, friends, and want. Okay, so these are the words which occurred appeared more frequently than the other. Okay, so now let me explain poetic device. So from this section, I'm going to show you the actual poetry written by Japanese students. So I'm going to give you a couple of moments, so please read it for yourself. So as you can see here, the poem written by Japanese student is not so long, okay? And you may find out some grammatical or spelling mistake, but still, you can get some sense of message, emotion from the poetry, right? And the first case is the use of metaphor, okay? The poet used the whole as a metaphor. And when you read it, you can probably understand he talks about his dad. Okay, his dad passed away, and then he talks about the memory with his dad. Okay, and then like